are living in an age where your wristwatch can tell you how you're sleeping, your scale can calculate how much water you drank that day, and your NBA box score? Oh, the data available. We are so past just tracking points and rebounds. Metrics can now judge everything from how many dribbles a player should take before shooting to how much pressure he should apply on closeouts. But for all the advancement in analytics, here is the key NBA element we still cannot measure: fit. Oh, sure, we can say that player X needs the ball in his hand, so he should be paired with player Y, who doesn't. But the real essence of fit: will these guys connect enough to do all those little extra things on the court? Is this certain player going to feel mentored by that certain coach? Would this player feel comfortable in that city with this locker room? All of that is much tougher to gauge, but can make the difference. Think about it. Great white sharks, they can rip your heart out, literally, while swimming in the ocean. But stick one on a Manhattan street corner, quickly going to become less dangerous than a doorstop. That is fit. And of course, the NBA is littered with examples of fit gone wrong. We got some sharks on street corners here with the 2004 Lakers. Should have been a super team, instead basically powdered their way into an NBA Finals and then were promptly upset. How about the 2009 Wizards? Pro tip: when one player is bringing guns into the locker room and tells a teammate to pick one so they can go at it, that is not a good fit, my friends. Or the Cavaliers a few years ago when Kyrie Irving and Dion Waiters were supposed to be just ripping it up as one of the NBA's most dangerous backcourts, but instead only ripped up each other. Of course, for a while this season, this year's Cavs were giving those Cavs a run for their dysfunctional money, but it was not because guys like Isaiah Thomas or Jay Crowder are bad people or bad players. They were bad fits, and even with a tiny little sample size, both already seem better with their new teams. While Cleveland seems to have gotten a huge addition by subtraction bump on its way to a 4-game win streak. Yet just as the situation in Ohio seems to be stabilizing with better fit, the one in D.C. seems like it is once again getting shaky. After spending the past few years talking about the John Wall, Bradley Beal fit, we are now onto the fit with Marcin Gortat. Remember this tweet from Gortat after Wall went out with knee surgery? You see team in quotes there?
Not good.
Wall originally responded LOL, then deleted that tweet, but it bothered him enough that our Chris Haynes has reported the two recently sat down in private to air their grievances, Festivus style. Haynes also reported, sources say there is still more work to be done to fully repair that relationship. That is not a good sign for Washington fans. Of course, there's no metric to measure here, but sometimes you can just tell. Things do not fit. Tracy, what do you think? Do you think just a meeting that is going to fix this? Because again, time and time again, we've seen players who look good here, not working there, locker rooms that are dysfunctional once you put certain ingredients together.
Yeah, this is interesting. I've never been a part of a team where the best player on that team goes down and guys on that are currently playing take shots at this guy while he's out injured. I've never seen that, never been a part of that. I don't know if this can be patched up to help these guys go on a winning streak and become a better basketball club. I'm glad that these guys have, worked things out amongst themselves to patch up their relationship somewhat. But I don't know if this is going to be enough for them to become a better club, per se.
When I was with the Wizards in training camp back in Richmond, Virginia, they were talking about how their big advantage was their continuity.
Right.
That they'd all played, the starting five was all back, and, the Celtics were all different, and the Cavs were all different, which proved to be an issue.
Everybody allowed
But
training.
Here's the thing about Wall and Gortat, because I know these guys a little bit. They are both like two of the most honest guys in the league, at least to each other, to everyone's face. If they don't feel something or they don't like something, they'll just tell you. So kind of in a way, I'm like, you know what? If Gortat doesn't think that, they're playing as well when Wall plays, obviously social media isn't the best way to do it, but I feel like get it out in the open and deal with it. Now, the Wizards did have trade talks with Gortat. He's going into the last year of his contract next year. I don't know how long this is going to be a partnership because John Wall has 6 years on his contract.
Yeah. We know who's going to win that battle in the locker room.
That's true. But just because they're angry at each other today, this doesn't mean that the season is lost. This can end up, there is this phenomenon does happen where a top player goes down and the team improves in the short term. It's known as the Ewing theory from Patrick Ewing. But
Tracy's right. They don't usually then take shots at their leader.
No.
That's true.
No.
That's true. But I do think it's not all lost for the Wizards. Granted, they are not playing like we thought they were going to play, and really not playing like they thought they were going to play because, as you know, Rachel, they thought they were going to be
Yes, I
ready
do
at the top.
know.
But this season is not lost. Wall will be back, and they can get over this.
Yes, they will make the playoffs, but I think with this team, they had higher expectations. They're not going to meet those expectations. I'm sorry, because Boston clearly is better. The Cavs with the new acquisitions are clearly better, and Toronto is better. So where did that leave these guys?
I'm going to tell you something. If they get to the 4 or 5 seed and they end up playing Toronto in the second round, or they have to play a tough first-round opponent.
What are you about to say?
They're going to be seeking those. They're going to be seeking them out. They will not have an issue with having confidence. I'm not making a prediction, Trace, but don't count the Wizards out just because they're struggling in February, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Do you remember earlier this season, DeMar DeRozan said he and Kyle Lowry didn't even speak off the court, that was a bad fit, and yet they were able to work itself out. They were able to understand each other. Man, they've had a great season so far, but they needed every bit of teamwork last night. They squandered a 17-point lead before finally rallying to beat the Heat by 3. DeRozan called it a terrible win, quote unquote, because of the way it unfolded. But ultimately, look, the Raptors have the best record in the East, the NBA's best record at home. And the question is, I'm not even asking you to look into the crystal ball of will they make an Eastern Conference Finals,
right,
but just how sustainable is this for them down the road?
Well, this is what I would say. It's very important for this team to end up the number 1 seed, to have the overall home court advantage. With that being said, because we've seen what Boston did last year. They had the number 1 seed, and we know what happened with that. But I think Toronto is a better team this year than they were in past years because they have more depth. Their 2 best players, especially DeMar DeRozan, has become a better basketball player, expanding his game way beyond the 3. Phenomenal at home. With that said, they have to show us what they're capable of in the playoffs. We haven't seen that. So
can I compliment them and not be accused of a flip-flopper if
I don't know. Let's see what you do.
If I say that they still have to prove that they can do it in May?
I don't think even the players on the team are saying that. I think, Tracy, your point about them having to secure the number 1 seed is so important because one of the things that's bolstered them so much is their bench, right? They have one of the deepest, best, most fun benches in the league now.
And one of the youngest benches in the league, which is why I can compliment their front office on their drafting and their transactions and also say you're going to be asking some young guys to have roles they've never done before.
That is my point about Tracy's note, though, is that who plays better at home? Role players.
The league's getting older every day.
The league is young. I mean, if you look at a lot of our stars, young stars,
I know, but when you have first and second and even third-year players and you're asking them to do things in the playoffs that they haven't done before, I think it's responsible to look back and say, let's just wait and see on them.
Yes, but that is, again, so I think Tracy's point about, hey, it's important to get that number 1 seed, have decisive games at home. Role players, bench players, young players play better at home. I mean, you can statistically chart it.
Absolutely true.
So I think how they do this and can they sustain it through this end of the season.
I also think, in fairness, Kyle Lowry's production in the playoffs over the last few years has varied. He's had some awesome games in the playoffs. He's had some games where he's vanished. Now, his role is a lot different this year. Maybe they'll get in and the changes that they made will unlock him and DeRozan sort of will take the lead and they'll be fine. But I just want to compliment the Raptors on doing a really good job organizationally. Great job by their coaching staff. Great job by their front office. Great job by DeMar DeRozan.
You know I'm laughing.
And let's just wait and see before we have to be cornered about whether they've arrived or not.
All right, so we were talking about Sunday's game, Paul Pierce's great moment. Ray Allen, very much not there on that day when the rest of the 2008 team, or many of them, were in attendance. And he spoke out on his IG against the criticism that came from him playing golf that day instead. He ran a lengthy Instagram post. He praised Pierce. He praised his time together in the Celtics. He said, quote, "Despite what you may have heard or read or what is rumored, there is nothing but love. Paul and I are more interested in building bridges than putting up walls. Congratulations on having your number raised up to the rafters." Now, I want to say a couple things here. First of all, we showed some pictures over the summer. The two of them were both in China at the same time. It was the first time since Ray left the Celtics that they really did get a chance to talk, and Paul has been very open that, just as Ray said, they have kind of quashed things between them. They are both interested in a nice, friendly future going forward. I will also say that Paul was on our show on Monday, and we did a segment talking about the fact that Ray wasn't there. And right after that break, the minute we got off the air, Ray Allen texted Paul in the moment and said, hey, I mean, I can only assume he was watching the show, and texted him right at the break to say, hey, man, I'm sorry I wasn't there. Congratulations. You guys can decide if maybe that text should have come earlier or if he should have been there.
Yeah, I'm sure Ray knew about this day for Paul for quite some time. And when I was watching it, the first thing I was like, where's Ray? Because, I mean, he was a huge part of this. Now, I know they had their differences in the past because of Ray left. And we as men tend to handle those type of situations differently. We don't like to, go to the guy and patch things up like women does. You guys do a phenomenal job. We like to hold things in, right?
Admit you're wrong. Admitting you're wrong
sure.
can be very difficult for some people in this
situation,
business.
But, I mean, it just didn't look right with all the other players there, KG, Rondo, and Ray wasn't there. I was upset about that.
I honestly believe, and people from Boston have told me I'm dead wrong about this, I honestly believe that someday they will all get back together and they will celebrate their championship, and they will, and you're enjoying this, and they will say to them, we wish we should have done this years ago.
What were we doing? What were we doing?
Right, exactly.
Look,
they may be old men when they say that, but this was an opportunity they could have gone closer.
Do you remember the last time you posited that theory on this show?
I did.
And Scottie Pippen was sitting next to you, and I said, Scottie, how do you feel about not the little Isaiah Thomas, Zeke Isaiah Thomas. How do you feel about Isaiah Thomas? If you guys patch things up, the death stare that man gave me in that moment.
Ask Isaiah Thomas about Karl Malone.
Right?
The look that he
But
would
those
give.
guys didn't win championships together.
True.
Someday, maybe it's 20 years from now, someday they will all stand together.
You said championships. You meant a championship.
Championship.
I do believe, by the way, that Ray
won.
Allen and Paul Pierce, if you stuck them in a room together, they would be fine, and that maybe Ray would have come on Sunday, except Kevin Garnett was there on Sunday. And Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett are not fine at all. That may have been a factor in Ray deciding.
I mean, it was a wonderful post.
It was. It was beautiful. And he didn't have to do that, and he did it.
No, not at all. But it was 2 days later. You got to point that out. Come on, Ray.
ESPN Senior Sneakerhead, which is the best title ever.
Like that.
I hope that's on your checks. Nick DePaula. So, Nick, you brought us some goodies.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? This is the Adidas headquarters in Portland. Tracy, I know some of these look familiar.
Yes. This is two of the T-Mac lines right here.
Oh.
So we have the T-Mac 1, T-Mac 5.
Okay.
So Tracy's first shoe when he was with the Magic. And then probably his most beloved shoe when he was with the Rockets, of course, the China connection there.
Right.
Every time those come back out in China, fans go nuts, and it's a huge shoe for sure.
Awesome.
So this right here is from the first line, and it has the 175 on there. Reason for the 175 is when I was in high school, I was the last person taken in this Adidas camp. And they gave me the jersey number 175. Like, I was the last guy to enter this camp. And I left the camp playing against the top guys in the country, like Lamar Odoms and those guys. And I left number 1. So this is the inspiration
That's
behind
pretty awesome.
You may have been the last person to register, but you were not the 175th person taken.
I was the last person to enter because I came from unknown, a small town in Florida that nobody knew about.
Well, somebody had a failure in scouting.
Right, exactly.
That would not happen today.
I don't think it could slip through the cracks.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's fascinating, especially your era. I mean, I know there are still sneaker wars today and back and forth, and certainly the Under Armour drama the past few years. But I feel like your era was like the height of sneaker war craziness. The Nike Adidas sort of assault to get you, what was that like, and what impact has it had that you actually went Adidas?
Well, because I was with Adidas since my junior year in high school. They sought me out then. But no, I just had a long relationship with Adidas. And it was a trial my first 3 years. I signed a deal with them. And I just felt like the partnership was great. Thank you to Kobe for opening up those doors because he left Adidas and went to the other company.
Right.
And then I signed my huge deal and, probably the number 1 guy to sell the most shoes for this company. So, I mean, it's an ongoing relationship. And now we're coming out with a totally, completely different line than what we have and also doing the retro as well.
So can you please tell how big a deal this is going to be All-Star Weekend?
I think the bigger thing, too, going back to when he said Kobe left, was T-Mac was kind of the first guy that brought patent leather, silver. He brought a lot of color to the All-Star game. So T-Mac 1, you had the silver black. T-Mac 2, you had that royal blue patent leather. And then T-Mac 3, I don't know if you couldn't decide or what, but you had one red and one blue.
So, and I think you look at today's sneaker companies, they're actually selling a different color shoe.
Yep.
And I started that back in what was that, 03, 04?
That was 04.
Did you just wake
out
up
here
in
in
bed
LA.
and be like, yeah, I'll wear one of each? Or
I
what?
couldn't decide what I wanted to wear because of the uniforms we have, the blue and red and white uniforms. And I had a patent blue and a patent red. I just said,
And the
forget it.
new one's coming out this weekend. You and I are doing the Celebrity All-Star Game together on Friday night. You better be wearing those new shoes.
I hope so. I hope so.
It's going to be, I mean, what's expected to release?
Well, it's not this weekend, but I know in summer, this summer in China, there's going to be some T-Mac 5s coming.
I know they don't come out till the summer,
And
but
I think
I've been told
I will
that
have 'em
maybe
on. I
think
we
he's
can
gonna
put
have
them
a
on
surprise.
display on Friday
Hopefully.
night.
I think there's going to be a surprise on Friday.
Yeah.
All right. See, I'm just going to blow your surprise. I'm just going to tell everyone, you've got to see these shoes. They're so good.
And of course, Kyrie
Oh, man.
is going to have his own All-Star theme.
These
and
are
this one,
killer. I love these.
it's inspired by Venice. So it has like the tie-dye print, the blue for the ocean. There's a pseudo like Illuminati symbol on the back, which of course is
course.
classic
Wait a minute.
Kyrie.
There's
course,
not a
of course.
pseudo-Illuminati
It's a
symbol.
distinctly-
That's
it's a-
actually what is here
It's
on the
called
tongue
the third.
of the shoe.
It's the third eye.
That is amazing.
Kyrie wants to challenge consumers to find their own meaning for things.
Shout out
and,
NBA
and
Twitter.
that, yeah. And then
Is
of
that what
course,
he's challenging them to do?
and in addition to Kyrie, of course, with it being in LA,
I love these shoes.
Nike's using this moment to really bring back Kobe retro.
Oh, people are
So
gonna
this is
go
a huge
for
deal
these.
for Kobe. Of course, they've done some packs in the past, but this is the Kobe one.
Wow.
So from 2006, it's the model he scored 81 points in. It's his first Nike shoe.
So don't put these on Jalen Rose's desk, is what you're telling me.
Jalen has fond memories of that shoe for bad reasons.
Right. I don't think the
They
memories
were
are
like
that
up here
fun.
on Jalen.
And in classic Kobe fashion, you know, Jordan's been doing retro for basically 25 years now.
Right.
Kobe coined a new term.
Of course
So
he
they're
did.
not called retro Kobes, they're called Kobe Protro. So it's performance and retro, and they're basically updating the shoe with today's technology so that unlike a retro Jordan, you would want to play in it with today's
They
tech.
keep him in the Muse cage.
In the Muse cage. I see. I was like, where's the Muse cage joke here? You beat me to it.
Sorry, Rich.
I do like the shoes. I'm very impressed with them.
And then last but not least, this is not the current model.
Oh,
this is
old
the
school.
Yeah.
I
this is
remember
the
these.
original LeBron Zoom generation.
Yep.
This was the shoe. At the time, it was pretty controversial that he did not make the All-Star game his rookie year.
He was not pleased. Let's just leave it at that.
And so he wore these in the rookie game, which was in 2004 in LA. Inspired by a Timberland shoe, of course, with the wheat colorway. And these will be coming back out this weekend, too.
That's pretty awesome.
Wheat.
Wheat. The wheat generations.
There you go.
Exactly. That's amazing. It's funny now because LeBron, I mean, he's enthusiastic about being in the All-Star game. He takes his responsibilities to promote the league. You and I both know that he takes that seriously. That being said, the idea of an extra weekend off now, he would be like, sure, don't put me in the All-Star game. It'll be fine. Nick, these are amazing. None of these are in my size. We're going to have a conversation about
We could
that.
figure that out.
But, you know, maybe we'll get Tracy back if you leave. I'm sorry. You're going to clearly have to go.
Tracy's on the phone back there.
He's making some calls. Thank you, though. This is awesome. We're going to have more of this to come on the show because we love you coming by. So come back soon. It's time for our first installment of No Filter with Andrew Bernstein, where we showcase some of your best work, which is saying something because this man has been photographing the NBA for decades, and his work is exceptional.
We won't say how
and
many
our
decades.
producer, it's like 5 or 6 decades. Our producer selected their 5 favorite Andrew Bernstein All-Star photos. So thank you for stopping by. Andrew, by the way, had some of the photos in the last segment. That's how omnipresent he was.
Right.
They used his pictures, and they didn't even know that they were his. All right, I want to bring up these pictures, and I have to put them on the stand carefully, otherwise they will fall over. Like that, right? Like this. I can do my little Vanna White. I can like go like this. I can hide behind it. I love this photo. What do you got?
Well, this is the original Larry Nance.
That's right.
Larry Nance
Those
Sr.
socks.
And 1984, the first NBA dunk contest in Denver. And Larry won. And the cute funny story is when I showed Larry Jr. this
Yes.
photo, he said to me, "Where'd you get that?" And I said, "Well, I took that picture."
My camera?
So it's kind of funny.
That's amazing. Larry Jr., of course, in the dunk contest this year is going to be pretty amazing.
Yeah, that'll be
But
something.
it's funny, you see the video, and the video is great, but there's something about a still photo, especially for dunk contest pictures, that just captured it. It's
Yeah.
so cool. All right, I want to take a look at this one. Speaking of
Ducky,
dunks.
I think we know that guy.
Oh,
Yep.
right there.
Yeah,
Woo.
that was pretty cool. I think that was 88.
85.
85. It was 85?
That's what
Yeah, see,
producer
I don't
Danny
know.
says. Producer Danny
I don't
knows
remember.
everything.
85. Okay.
Yep.
But MJ was always great for, in-game dunks, but also of course the dunk contest was
Yep.
unbelievable.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we were just
Dominique
talking
got
about.
robbed.
Oh, boy. Still.
30 years.
Still bitter over that. It's unbelievable.
I don't know. I would say that the dunks, weren't you talking about this on your Hoop Collective the other day, that the dunks that Jordan made sort of powered him forward in a way that made him become sort of, it helped gild the lily of how iconic.
Look, I was a basketball fan in the mid to late 80s. Michael Jordan got me interested in the NBA. What else can I say?
There you go. All right, we were talking about this on this show the other day. Just this moment, Byron Scott was talking about how much it meant to Magic to be All-Star MVP in this year, and just this was '92, I think,
Orlando.
right? And this was, obviously he contracted the HIV virus. He stopped playing with the Lakers. There was a lot of controversy over whether he should play in this game, and the players who accepted him and said, "Hey, we just play with this guy. He's our guy. He's our teammate." You can see him in the speech. It meant so much.
Yeah, well, kudos to Commissioner Stern for allowing Magic and welcoming Magic to the game, to the weekend. It was beyond magical, the way that game ended with he and Isaiah going head-to-head, and, of course, Magic getting the MVP. And
then that smile you captured, that smile is amazing.
It was amazing. And then both teams coming over and hugging him afterwards. It's just
These are all
incredible.
iconic photos.
Iconic. Okay, well, look at this one. This one's amazing as well.
This is a young
Kobe
Mamba.
Bean.
This is a pre-Mamba Mamba.
I knew that kid.
Yeah, that was...
I love Kobe photos are great. You see the energy of it.
Yeah, he just knocked it out. And I like this picture especially because it's a wide shot. Just everybody's eyeballs are right on him.
Right?
Warm-ups, yeah.
Have warm-ups on a dunk?
He was going the Brent Barry route. Warm-ups, yeah. But,
Man, we should have gotten him back for this year's dunk contest.
Took it off
Vince Carter could have each done like a ceremonial dunk. No?
Yeah, 97. That's amazing.
Woo. All right, and this picture with a little more modern twist to it. I love this because this is just such a great moment. You've captured the relationship so well.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. I love shooting these sort of behind the scenes or fly on the wall, just, stuff that's happening on the side, and to get these guys together, and
well, this is amazing. It's prescient because this was years before 2014, I believe, before Kevin Durant came over. And it's funny, I sat down with these guys recently, and they said that people on the outside don't know how long they've been friends. That, in fact, KD was one of the first people Steph told he was going to propose to Aisha Curry.
Oh, no kidding.
That, in fact, it was KD who he told he was going to do that. And you can see it in this picture. Look at their relationship. This is pre-Warriors.
No, it's
really
great.
Dirk's very excited in the background there.
Yeah. Dirk is like...
He's seen there.
Dirk doesn't realize the future of the NBA is sitting right in front of him. He doesn't understand.
This is amazing.
There were infamous moments in First Takes history where an athlete went directly to a talker and said, "You don't know what you're talking about." Well, you're about to hear one of those moments. Maybe. We'll see. I might have a little bit of a fight in myself. You might hear one of those moments right now, because a little bit earlier today, I was tweeted. Well, I don't know if I was tweeted or Stephen A. Smith was tweeted, but LA Clippers guard Pat Beverly told on me to Stephen A. Smith that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to basketball. Nothing. Multiple exclamation points. And because Pat Beverly has backbone and spine, and you could have seen it on the basketball court if you didn't know already, I knew that. But I didn't know he also had backbone and spine when it comes to criticism and face-to-face confrontation. He has that. He's now on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. What's up, Pat? Good to meet you.
Brother. How are you, brother?
I'm good. All right. Just go, man. Why am I full of it? Why do I not know what I'm talking about?
Nah, you know what? And it's not your fault, right? And it's not your fault, and it's not only you. It's a bunch of people out there. For people to understand what goes on in the NBA with players, everyday games, being hot from the field, being cold, going through normal things of life. In order for the outside of people from basketball who don't play basketball, in order for you all to understand how it really is made up, it kind of goes unnoticed sometimes.
Okay, Pat, I hear what you're saying. There's limitations to what I can know. That's undoubtedly true. But you said it today. You didn't say it yesterday. So what did I say today that you're like, Will has no idea what he's talking about?
Oh, you spoke about the Cavs, and they won't come out the East.
Okay, now hold on. Let me tell you something. If I ever take you on one-on-one, if you ever hear me say I can take Pat Beverly one-on-one, you should laugh at me and mock me out. But when it comes to what I say and why I say it and the reasons I have behind it, I know what I'm doing now. So I said they're not a lock to win the East. And I think that's a really very reasonable conclusion. The Pats I mean, the Cavs, with 2 games under their belt with this new lineup, cannot be considered a lock to win the East.
I mean, and of course, I'm not playing this year, so I'm able to be a fan this year.
Okay.
And any basketball player will tell you, no matter what team, and it's hard for us to say it, and as basketball players, it's hard for us to say it, but as basketball players, we come to the truth. Any team LeBron James on is a lock to come out of anyway.
Oh, Pat, man, you do sound like a fan. Come on, LeBron James and a bunch of nobodies.
Except in the West, because the West is a different monster. But in the East, and you have to give every team out there the respect. Like Brad Stevens has done a hell of a job with Boston. Toronto has been playing their ass off. Like, I mean, it's a lot of good teams, but. I mean, it is LeBron James.
Okay.
And people forget this, right? And that's why I think history always repeats itself, right?
Okay.
No matter what happens in life, history always repeats itself. So, a championship team is only a couple superstars and amazing role players.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay.
Amazing role players. It's been like that since back in the day. It's been like that since the Chicago Bulls. It's been like that since the Golden State Warriors. I mean, there are superstars. You have your superstars. You have guys.
But what is that on the Cavs, Pat? Are you saying that's LeBron and Kevin Love and these new guys are the amazing role players?
Yeah. I'm and when I mean role players, that's not.
I know what you mean.
Understating the next player up, because I consider myself a role player. I consider myself a really, really good role player.
And you are, and I don't think that's an insult.
Right.
I know what you're saying.
Right. So it's no insult to anyone, but the facts are facts. You have LeBron James, and you can tell.
Okay, hold on for a sec, Pat. I'm sorry. Time out. 1 sec. I want to let you know this because of the way radio works. At 3:54 in 20 seconds, I won't have control, and we're going to go to commercial. So that means we got 20 seconds. I mean, 2 minutes here.
Okay.
I want to tell you this.
Cool.
I hear you, okay? And I've had callers tell me the same thing. Well, what you're doing to me is telling me this. I don't know basketball, but the rebuttal is simply LeBron James and amazing role players. And all I'm saying, you asked for me on Twitter, real human facts, right? Don't tell me that they're on this amazing shooting streak, that there's no way they can continue, that they're also playing amazing defense, by the way, Pat, which I don't think will continue at this level. It may be good, but it's not going to be this good. What I'm saying to you is this, that here's the real human facts that we don't know yet. Chemistry, pressure, monotony. How will they do over the course of the season, and how will they do in the playoffs? Man, we don't have any idea yet.
So why should we take the negative point? Why shouldn't we take the positive? Right?
Well, what I would say to that is we do know some things about, for example, Toronto. Now, they don't have LeBron James. That's true. But, DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry with some role players have been the number 1 seed in the East throughout this entire season, or until recently they got up there ahead at Boston. I think that's the rebuttal.
No, I mean, and if anyone from Toronto saying these people are getting ready for LeBron James, like no disrespect, like people are preparing to try to beat the Cavaliers, no matter what place they're in.
Okay, real quick because we have a minute. Was the team that they had a week ago also not LeBron James plus role players? Didn't that also fit the criteria? No. I don't agree because IT needs the rock. IT needs the rock. You got to give him the rock. Right.
But George Hill doesn't.
Right.
Rodney Hood in the second unit, Clarkson in the second unit. I mean, you put them in a legitimate chance of being one of the teams to come out the East.
Okay, I hear you, man. I got 20 seconds. I just want to tell you this while I've got you. Okay, you're right. They're better than they were. That's for sure. I respect the hell out of you for coming on and giving it to me face to face, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me, baby.
All right, take care. That's Pat Beverly on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line.